So this little area here needs to be heated up and straightened out. They either ran into a loading dock or got rear-ended. It's hard to say, but it's pushed in there and pulled out up here. Probably could use some new reflector tape, which I believe we have on hand, which is a great extra expense. Might need some lighting. No big deal there. And, of course, this little spot here, I noticed, I'll go around here so you can see a little better. This little spot in the expanded metal needs to be heated up, pushed back into place, and maybe some tack welds, just so that nobody gets caught on that. But overall, it's basically rust-free. It's almost as if it was hot dipped or galvanized beforehand. Just got a little bit of peeling paint on the top part, but down below, it's great. There's no rust even where the screws are going in, but the screws are snapping off as we were trying to just take them off with a ratchet. And of course they did a wonderful job here. That's going to be quite the mess to clean up, but we're going to get out what we can so that we don't have to drill every one of them out just by grinding them off. And for the most part, they put 2 screws at the end, one here at about quarter of the way, and 2 on the end. So we're going to straighten this all out and make her look like a parade queen. Hi everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today's job is trying to gather up enough stuff here on the farm so that we can wrap up this flatbed. This was on the back of a 57 Chevy tandem truck, just sitting on it. It wasn't ever actually part of the truck. It was just kind of what we call a free dog with a deal. And I told him if he sells it, it will pay for his restoration project on that 57 and then these other 57 Chevys also. The nice things are about this is we can do a lot of fabricating here on the farm ourselves. We were able to do a total deck replacement on that. That was the previous video that was up on YouTube. If you haven't seen that, go check that out under our vehicle and repairs playlist. Today, the entire back end of this had been destroyed, mangled, mushed in. It was terrible. Here's a shot of it. So this is all the parts all cut off. You can see that they just cut right through the trailer or the bed frame that it was on. And it was really just too much to straighten out. Originally that was what I was suggesting. He thought better of it and said, you know, if I go ahead and cut off the diamond plate that was here, well, it was welded on. So he torched that off, made it just flat here for the frame, all original, drilled holes through it after, then he drilled holes on it after fabricating this. This is where we left off in the last video. He was working on getting this going. Today it's actually ready for some primer, so I'm going to get that out. We priced these out. Harbor Freight didn't have the right size, and we didn't want to have to cut off all of our flanges and start over. We went out. We've got fuel doubles. We were able to scavenge parts off of it. Individually, like these each, $2 each, $2 each. The pigtail, $2 each. So not bad. We still have to rewire it. That's something else that we're going to be working on. And he can either make this work or find another cover for it. We had some extras. Legally, I guess you have to have 3 lights across the back, your side marker lights, and lights here and here. So these are the things that we are working on. Together, this project takes many days to do and put together. There was a day of tear down, a day of grinding off all the broken studs from the original deck where it was bolted in. Sanding, painting, welding, doing some repairs up here, straightening out the side rails. It's all teamwork with us, and right now, Team B is off doing something else. He's been getting together the parts for this today, and we're going to start in on it now. So this is the original brake light plate or bracket, and it was mangled pretty bad because it looked like they had backed into something and then pulled it back out. So he has been taking the wood and the sledgehammer to try to straighten it out the best he can. He's not a fan of this diamond plate material, and it kind of looks off on something that's all smooth. But he figured out it's all flat on the other side, and it's how he likes it. So he can straighten this up enough. He's going to probably torch it a little bit to get some heat going on there to get that a little straighter. And we will get it welded on and continue on with our painting. I always say we get a lot of heckling. Keyboard commenters are real easy and swift with the tongue to leave comments about wasting our time on this or that. But we have gone into places like Alro Steel and tried to find what they call scraps or remnants and can't find the right thickness or the right width on so many different projects. That's why farmers have junk piles around, or fabricators have junk piles around, because you're constantly fabricating, creating, engineering something. If you just toss that material out, you're not going to get it back in scrap parts or new parts, and then you're just kind of wasting your time doing that. So the fabricating skills are coming in handy, having these materials on hand. I mean, we drove around looking for those correct grommets and brake and warning light signals, and finally started to call around to some former truck companies that we've used in the past. And then of course it's driving into town, tracking them down, waiting for them to get them in stock. So we're almost there. Okay, so check out how this is turning out. He was able to flatten out that diamond plate so good. He added some channel iron here, and he put the channels so they're going to be facing down so no water gets set in there, trapped, causing rust. And of course that diamond plate's going to be on the inside. Totally able to reuse that. It's been primed. It's got a coat of paint. We're actually going to move it to the barn and dry it off. Some sprinkles came through today. And he wants to get a second coat of paint on this for the night so that it can be nice and hard to be able to do an assembly later tomorrow. Husband has been hard at work. He has taken care of fixing the lights, bolting up and painting his back bracket. The whole bumper is in place, all bolted on like he wanted. He originally thought bolting it on, then he went to welding and thought, we're not gonna ever wreck it, but if anybody does. So he stuck with the bolting on the whole back end deal. Painted them to match. That's always nice. And look at all those nice lights. All the brake lights, the side marker lights are hooked up. So we're just moving it over here out of the way of the shop for it to get sent on its way. That's our 12-year-old son running the backhoe. He's trying to line it up perfectly between these trees. His dad gives him little minor adjustments. Be a perfect time to have 4 empty 55-gallon barrels, which I don't right now, so we've got these half barrels that we're able to set it on, and some batteries that are going to the scrapyard. Doesn't look great on display, but it'll do. It'll do just to sit here. Now I think they got it lined up the way they want. When we were working on it, we had the barrels out to the sides, and that kind of hides them in there a little bit more on that inside support rail. That looks a lot better. What a good helper he is. Our 2 youngest boys like to farm, the other 2 not as much. The second oldest boy, he likes to garden. Yeah. So this wraps this up. I'd say this is a pretty good adjustment. He's reminding me somebody wants a hay delivery, so I gotta go take care of that. Tomorrow's Mother's Day, and this project has been going on for quite a while. We had to wait for the paint to cure, we had to wait for the boards to unfreeze, we bought them with ice on them, and we're out of the freezing nights now. So all stickered up, looks great. I'm impressed with it. He did a good job. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.